So we will be going to discuss about the cognitive strategy in prompt engineering. That is first part, and then different ways of structuring the prompt. So you remember, right? We have discussed about AE of prompt engineering, right? AE of prompt engineering, where A to I is basically characters A to I basically defines the things that you need to take care while you are writing the prompt. So when I'm talking about specifically about C part, so C part was basically for creation task, right? Whatever the actual user query is and whatever you want your LLM to create. So it was, create is one part in C. And then second part was the cognitive strategy. So cognitive strategy is basically the way of thinking, the way in which LLM should think. So that is one thing which we are going to discuss. And then there was F part also in AI of prompt engineering. F means first was final thing that you want to do with generated output. That was first part. And second was uh, formatting structure, formatting, basically formatting style for prompts. So this is second part. So we are going to cover these two parts in today's session, formatting style for prompts and then different cognitive strategies. Okay. So let me start creating a new mind map. And let me name it as cognitive strategy in prompt engineering. Okay. Now, first strategy. First is known as COT, chain of thoughts. This is known as chain of thoughts. Now, chain of thought is doing simple reasoning step by step. So, simple reasoning step by step. So, whenever you are asking your LLM, which basically simulates that LLM to think step by step, then that is known as chain of thoughts. And where it is used? It is used in solving it is used to solve the problem gradually instead of directly jumping onto the answer. So solving problem gradually instead of directly jumping to the answer. Okay. Now, if we'll go back and see, let's say, okay, so this is the base prompt I'm taking. Plan a 3-day AI workshop for beginners. So, how we will convert this base prompt into chain of thoughts prompting. So, this is how I will do. So, if I'll write my prompt something like plan a 3-day AI workshop for beginners, think step by step. So, step by step is a very important thing here, right? So, mentioning step by step is something which you can remember. Think step by step about learning goals, audience, topic sequence, exercise, and outcome before creating the agenda. So, this is the example of chain of thought prompting. Next is TOT, which is tree of thoughts. So tree of thought is to basically explore many possible thoughts and pick the best thought. So it is like exploring various COT branches or various COT for a problem and then pick the best one. So what happens in chain of thought? One second. So chain of thought is like you have given the user query, then it will, think, B is a step 1, C is a step 2, D is a step 3. Like this, it will linearly think. Now, what tree of thought says? So if there is a user query, then there can be many steps to solve that, right? So let's say one branch is this ABC, another branch is this, and probably there might be some other branch also, right? Like this. So explore these various branches, and these are again COT branches only, chain of thought, right? So explore these various branches. So in this example, there are three branches, and then out of these three, pick the best, whatever is best for this use case. So let's say if this is the best, so LLM will pick this. So this is tree of thought. Use, I mean, if we'll talk about use, so it is used for planning use cases, strategy, and complex decision making. In these use cases, it is used. Now, when we talk about this prompt, if you want to create a prompt using tree of thought, so this is how I will create my prompt. So plan a 3-day AI workshop for beginners by explore. Okay, step by step also I will write a step. No, wait. So plan a 3-day AI workshop for beginners by exploring multiple approaches step by step. Okay, it is already written here, right? So these various approaches I am mentioning: theory first, then hands-on, and then project-based, and then choose the best structure. So this will become tree of thought. Okay, so this is about tree of thought. Now next is what else? Self-consistency. So self-consistency is solving the same problem in many ways and pick the best answer. So solving the problem in many ways and pick the best answer. Now, tree of thoughts and self-consistently might look same thing, right? But tree of thought, what is happening in tree of thought? I have, various thoughts. So these are thoughts. T1, T2, T3, and I am asking my LLM to basically explore these thoughts and then pick the best thought and give one final answer, A1. Now, in self-consistency, what is happening? I am asking my LLM to solve the problem and give various answers. So it will give A1 and A2 answer and A3. And then out of these, all the answer, pick the best one. Let's say A2. So this is the difference between tree of thought and self-consistency. So here answer produced is one only in tree of thought, but in chain of thought, the answers are, sorry, in self-consistency, the answers are more, and then the LLM has to pick the best answer. Now, when we talk about uses, so the use is basically to reduce the hallucination, because LLM will explore all the answer and then it will pick the best answer. Okay. Now, when we talk about creating the prompt using self-consistency, so this is how the self-consistency prompt looks. So generate a generate three different 3-day AI workshop for beginners, compare them and select the most logical, consistent and balanced version. So this is the example of self-consistency prompt. Okay. Next is POT. POT, which is known as program of thoughts. Okay, so what is POT? So POT means program of thought. So it says that it is basically think plus code. Or I would say, okay, let me write it down. So think plus code using Python like logic for reasoning. And where it is used? So it is basically used for maths and data problem. Maths and data problem. Now, what we are asking our LLM to basically reason like Python like logic and then basically come up with the answer. So if we'll talk about the prompt uh, program of thought, so this is how the prompt will look. So plan a 3-day AI workshop for beginners using Python style reasoning. Define workshop goals. Allocate sections, session day wise. Calculate time distributed distribution and organize topics in progressive and step by step order before generating the final schedule. So this is program of thought, and let's use this to generate the output once. Chat GPT. So if I'll give this prompt, so it will think in coding style, Python like reasoning it will do, and then it will generate the result. Okay, see, it is defining the goals in Python. I mean, it's in a programmatic way, coding logic, and then it is still thinking. And then finally, it is basically it basically came up with the plan. This is the plan. Okay, so this is what POT is, program of thoughts. Give me 1 minute. My mouse is discharged. Let me once again use it. Okay, it has started working. Okay, so this is program of thought. Now next is GOT. Not, it is not Game of Thrones. It is graph of thoughts. What is graph of thoughts? GOT. So it is about creating a network of thoughts where the thoughts can merge, split, combine, and reuse each other. So graph of thought is something like, so we have this one thought, and then we have another thought like this, and then let's say B and D are using each other and creating another thought, and let's say C and E are again merging and creating another thought, something like this. So this is graph of thought. Basically, it will basically create network of thoughts which can merge, split, and combine to reuse each other and then come up with the best possible answer. And if we'll talk about uses, so it is used basically in basically for mapping and interconnecting different types of thoughts. Types of thoughts. So this is graph of thoughts. When we talk about the prompt for the graph of thought, so this is how it will look. So map, if I'm giving some prompt like this, map the relationship between AI concept, tool, project, ethics, and beginner learning goal. So AI concept, tools. So for each of these topic, it will create a separate thought, right? And then it can merge, reuse others, basically these thoughts within themselves, and then combine it, and then synthesize them into an optimized 3-day AI workshop plan. So this is about graph of thought. Basically, the prompt that we are seeing here is a graph of thought. Next is react. React is reason and act. Reason and act. Now, reason and act is basically think plus act. So I'm asking my LLM to think first and then act. So this act, whatever is acting, it can be using tools. Okay, it can be using tools, and the use of React is basically in agentic AI infrasystems, and then web searches, and APIs. So this is reason and act, where we are asking LLM to think and then act. So if we talk about the prompt, so this is how the React prompt will look. Reason about beginner difficulties in learning AI. So I'm asking it to reason first and then design activity, tools, exercise that address those challenges as part of 3-day AI workshop. So this is reason and act prompting. Okay, next is reflection. Reflection. So reflection, so React is reason and act. Reflection is think plus improve. So basically, and it is basically mostly used in code reviews and analysis task. Code reviews and analysis tasks. So we are asking the LLM to think first and then basically, improve on that particular thinking. So if we talk about the prompt, so create a 3-day AI workshop for beginners. So we are asking to create first and review it for gaps or overload, and uh, then refine and improve the final version. So we are asking first to generate it, then think on it for the gaps, and then improve it with that particular generation with the final version. So this is reflection pattern or reflection prompting. Next is plan and solve. Plan and solve prompting. So what happens in plan and solve? So we are asking LLM to first plan and then execute on that plan. So planning, basically we are asking LLM to do the planning. So uses will be basically in multi-steps workflows. So if we'll think of the prompt in plan and solve, so this is something which will be plan and solve prompting. First, create a learning roadmap. So roadmap, we are asking whenever we are asking roadmap. So roadmap is associated with planning, right? So first, create a learning roadmap and objectives for beginner AI workshop, and then generate the detailed 3-day schedule based on that plan. So this is plan and solve prompting. Next is SR prompting or scratchpad. Scratchpad scratchpad reasoning. So scratchpad reasoning means, let's say if you are getting some idea. So if you have to calculate 2 plus 2, so you will directly do 2 plus 2 in mind. So you don't need pen and paper, right? But if I am giving you some complex mathematical problem to think, so you cannot do, you can, try it to one level in your mind. Mentally, you can do at till one level. But if it is a complex problem, so you have to, take a pen and then start writing that problem on paper to solve it completely. So that is the whole idea behind scratchpad reasoning. So scratchpad reasoning is basically uh, is writing intermediate notes while thinking. So this is scratchpad reasoning prompting, and uses are basically for complex reasoning and complex reasoning and calculations, and yeah, so uses are for complex reasoning and calculation. Now when we take the example of scratchpad reasoning, so this prompt will fit in for scratchpad reasoning. So use a scratchpad to brainstorm beginner AI topics, activities, sequencing idea, and learners challenge before creating the final 3-day workshop. So let's try to run this prompt in Chat GPT to see how it scratch, it uses this particular technique. Okay. So it has mixed the above conversation weight. So let me refresh this and then. So it is writing down all the points, scratch padding, whatever the ideas are coming. And then it is sequencing the ideas for 3-day workshop. And finally, it will basically create the final plan. So this is how the scratch pad reasoning. So whatever the points are there to think, it will think on it. It will write intermediate notes and then create the final ask. Now let's talk about the next technique, cognitive strategy, which is self-critic. So it is like criticize plus improve. So criticize plus improve means you have seen, right? React was think plus act. Reflection was think and then improve. It is the criticize the idea first and then improve. So it is mostly used in uh, error detection, then quality assurance and identifying the weaknesses. Whenever there are use cases around these, whatever I have mentioned here, so that's where the self-critic is used. Self-critic prompting is used. So when we talk about self-critic, so this is how the self-critic prompt will look. So create a 3-day AI workshop for beginners. After generating the plan, critically evaluate it for unclear sequencing, missing beginner support, unrealistic pacing, weak exercises, or gaps in learning outcomes. Then revise and improve the workshop into a stronger final version. So this is where uh, I am asking it to basically criticize, and then this is the version, this is the portion where I'm asking it to improve. So this is self-critic. Okay. Next type of prompting is uh, okay. So what is next type? It is least to most. Least to most. So what is least to most? So least to most is to basically solve the problem, solve the simpler problem first within the use case, and then gradually move on to the tougher problem. So basically, solve the problem in this level of difficulty. So first of all, beginner level of difficulty, then go to intermediate level of difficulty, and then go to the advanced level of difficulty manner. So where it is used, so it is basically used in educational sequencing. Whenever you are doing some educational sequencing related work, or whenever you are designing any curriculum, right? So curriculum designing. So if we'll take the example of least to most here, so this is how the least to most prompt will look. So plan a 3-day AI workshop for beginner by first identifying the simplest concept learner need, then progressively build towards advanced AI topics, and then use this progression to create the final workshop schedule. So this is what least to most cognitive style of prompting looks. Next is, second, let me move this to right hand side. Okay. Next is Socratic prompting. Socratic prompting. So what is Socratic prompting? Socratic prompting is basically to use guided questions. So guided questions will be what, why, how, all these things, right? Use guided questions basically. And then the uses will be, so whenever you are tutoring or tutoring use cases, or you need deep understanding for any concept, or you need guided learning. Okay, so there, that's where the Socratic prompting is used. So if we want to see the prompt, Socratic using Socratic prompting, so this is how it looks. You use Socratic questions to design a beginner 3-day AI workshop. Ask the questions, ask and answer the questions such as, what do beginners, struggle with? Why is Python important before machine learning? What practical activities improve understanding? Continue questioning until a complete workshop plan emerges. So this is Socratic prompting. Now next is step back prompting. Okay, so what is step back prompting? So step back prompting is to basically step back from the task to understand the higher level principle, abstraction, strategies, and journal rules. So step back from the task to understand high level principles and abstractions, strategies, and general rule, so that it can, so we are taking a step back to understand other principles and then generating the result for the actual ask. So where it is used? So uses are in strategic thinking, and principle based planning. Principle based planning. So if we think about step back prompting prompt, so this is how it will look. So before creating the workshop, identify the key principles of effective beginner AI education, such as pacing, hands-on learning, progressive complexity, and then design the 3-day workshop using those principles. So we are setting up some principle by stepping back, and then we are asking the LLM to generate the result based on those principles. So this is step back prompting. Next is verification. So verification is basically, first of all, the result will be generated, and then we'll ask the LLM to verify whether answer satisfies the required conditions. So generates plus verify for required conditions. And use will be basically for correctness validation. So if you want to validate the correctness of anything, correctness validation, and compliances, when there are compliances and you have to be double sure before finalizing the thing, compliances, and then factual consistency if you want to check. So this is where the verification prompting is. This is how the verification cognitive strategy looks. So when we talk about the prompt, so it will be something like create a 3-day AI workshop for beginners. Then verify whether the workshop includes beginner friendly pacing, balanced theory and practice, realistic session timing, hands-on exercise, and clear learning outcomes. Correct any problem found. So this is the example of verification prompting. Okay. Moving on to the next one. So next one is iterative refinement. Iterative refinement. Now, iterative refinement is where it generate answer and then refine it in multiple iteration. So generates plus refine in multiple iterations. Where it is used? It is used for wherever you want gradual improvement, and whenever you want content enhancement. Now, if you want to see how the iterative refinement looks, the prompt. So it is like create a 3-day AI workshop for beginners, then refine it over 3 iterations, focusing on clarity, engagement, and practical learning outcomes. So this is the iterative refinement. Next is debate prompting. Now, debate prompting is something where the we are asking LLM to spawn some internal experts which will argue or debate on multiple viewpoints before selecting best one. So multiple experts debates on a viewpoint, uh, not a viewpoint, on multiple viewpoints before selecting the best one. So debate prompting is this, and where it is used. So it is used in critical analysis whenever you are doing any critical analysis. Critical analysis and evaluating competing ideas. So wherever you are evaluating the competing ideas. So evaluating competing ideas. So that's where the debate prompting is used. So if you want to see how the debate prompt look, so this is how it will look. So I'm asking my LLM to simulate two AI education expert debating whether a theory first or project first beginner 3-day AI workshop is more effective. Let both sides present arguments, then synthesize the strongest final workshop plan. So this is debate prompting. Next is multi-agent reasoning. Multi-agent reasoning. So multi-agent reasoning is basically here also multiple specialized agents collab on different part of the problem, right? So what we are doing, we are dividing divide the problem, then assign multiple agents on each part of the problem. And here the difference between debate prompting and multiple agent prompting is that in debate prompting, the agent has to argue with each other. They have to argue with each other. But here in multi-agent reasoning, so they have to collaborate with each other. They don't have to fight. They will work on different parts individually and then they will collaborate to produce the result. So this is the difference between multi-agent reasoning and debate prompting. And it is basically used in complex systems and wherever there is a enterprise kind of a setup or in enterprise workflows. Okay, so this is multi-agent reasoning. And if you want to see the prompt for multi-agent reasoning, so use multiple AI agent to design a workshop, design the workshop. One agent focuses on curriculum structure, one on beginner psychology, one on hands-on exercise, one on assessment and outcome. Then combine their recommendation into final 3-day workshop. So you can see there are multiple agents I am asking to be spawned, and then these will work on these agents will work on separate problems, and then finally they will collaborate to recommend the final 3-day workshop. So this is multi-agent reasoning. Next is role-based. So role-based, you already know, right? Act as a, so whenever we give act as an AI educator, something like that when we give, so this is role-based. So this I have already covered in AI of prompt engineering. So use is basically for the perspective control. So whenever we want to control the perspective, and it will be like a simple prompt, it will look. So you are an experienced AI educator and workshop instructor. So we are giving the role first, and then we are asking it to design the workshop. So this is role based. Next is RAG based. So RAG based is basically using knowledge base, right? So using knowledge base. So whenever you are using knowledge base, and even if in Chat GPT you are attaching some document, so it is allowed in paid version. So in Chat GPT also, when you are attaching some document and then asking the questions from that document, so that qualifies the RAG based prompting, right? And where it is used, so it is used when you uses knowledge base. So this is RAG based. Next is analogical. So analogical is like model solves problem by comparing it to similar known analogy. So model solves problem uh, by comparing it to similar analogy. Okay, what's the use? Where it is used? So it is used to teach difficult concepts, difficult concepts, and wherever you want creative thinking or creative flair, and wherever there is cross domain transfer is required, or we can say for simplification, wherever simplification is needed. So this is analogical prompting. And okay, RAG based ka prompt I forgot to show you. So RAG based में using the provided AI, this particular course material, documentation, beginner tutorial, create a 3-day AI workshop plan. Now for analogical, it is something like this. So design a 3-day AI workshop for beginners by drawing analogies from how beginner coding boot camps or language learning courses are structured, and then use those similarities to create an effective learning progression. So this is analogical prompting basically. Okay. Any doubts? Anyone has any doubts? No doubts? All clear? Okay.
So we know like there are many cognitive strategies in prompt engineering.
Mhm.
So as a layman, how people can decide which one they have to apply?
Yeah, so I mean, that's where we have mentioned uses, right? And
This
some of
is
the uses will basically overlap also. So how you will basically come to know as per your use case is basically defined in these uses, whatever I have mentioned. So, and if you want to actually draw the distinction between these type of cognitive strategy, you take a simple example first, and then try to create the prompts using these different types of cognitive strategies. You will come to know as and when you will start working on them, where to use what type of strategy. Most commonly used are react and reflection and chain of thoughts. So these are, and multi-agent reasoning. So these are some of the common strategies which are basically used, but you can go ahead and use other types of strategies also. So probably you can refer uses whatever I have mentioned here. Na? So yeah, so that way you can decide. And it will not come in first day itself. So once you will start practicing on these different cognitive strategies, gradually you will come to know and find the difference on what type you are more comfortable in giving the instructions to the LLM. So you can try out, every type of strategy.
uh,
Um,
just one last
Go ahead.
question. So if I say for me any one of these cognitive strategy can
Mhm.
help. So it depends upon me which suits
Yeah,
for
which
any.
whatever suits your use case, basically. Let's say you have to plan something, right? You have to plan something, you have to plan some roadmap, but that planning or that strategic decision is a complex one, right? And there are many ways of thinking around that. There are many ways in which you can create a roadmap around that particular uh, uh,
Correct.
task. So in that
Mhm.
case, you can go with tree of thoughts, which says that you can explore various paths or various thought tree of thoughts and then pick the best one. And uh, let's say you want to uh, for example, if you want to ask something, then you want to answer all what, why, how kind of thinking you want to apply. So in that case, you can go with Socratic prompting, where you uses guided question to basically come up with the final response, right? So it depends. So as per your use cases, it depend. So it's not like that for any particular use case. Let's say debate prompting is good and any other prompting is not good. It is about generating the most what do you say, relevant response from the LLM. So once you will have the knowledge of all these cognitive strategy, you will slowly and gradually, once you start using them, you will come to know, okay, which type of prompting in which use case gives the best result. So
Mhm.
that's how you can basically decide. It needs practice for sure. So you can, as a practice, as an assignment, what you can do, you can take some base prompts and then try to create the different prompts based on these cognitive strategies.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Now next was
Abhinav, one question.
mhm.
What is the difference between TOT and self-consistency?
Okay. So
They
TOT and
look
self.
very similar.
So
Yeah.
TOT means okay. Uh, okay. So TOT. Let's think. You want to create a program on Fibonacci series. Okay. So Fibonacci series. Okay. I don't know. Spelling is correct. Fibonacci. Okay. I don't know. Okay. So
Looks right.
Fibonacci series you want to create. So when you want to give when you want to use tree of thoughts, so tree of thought will be like thinking whether you should create this Fibonacci series program with Python. And if you want to create with Python, then what all libraries you will be using. So this is one thought. Then second thought will be whether you want to create it using Java, and then what all the libraries you are using, and then something like this, JS, and what libraries, something like this. I'm just giving you a vague example. I mean, just a example. Now, when it will decide on all these thoughts, and it will pick in the current reference, it will pick either of these thought, right? Let's say it is picking this thought. Okay, I should go with Java. This particular thought has been selected, and these are rejected. Okay. Now, with this particular thought, step by step, it will generate the answer. So it is like selecting one thought out of many thought, and then as per that thought, I am generating answer. So this is tree of thought. When we talk about uh, self consistency, so Fibonacci series program I have to write. So Fibonacci series is, let's say, using Python, I have decided to write. So I will write, let's say I am creating two functions or two methods, and then using the creating the answer one, which is solving the Fibonacci series. Second way, let's say I am using the recursion. I am using the concept of recursion, and then I am creating the program of Fibonacci series. So and I am generating the program. I am generating the answer. I mean, I am a LLM, and I am generating the answer internally when I am going through that problem. Third way is, let's say I am just so in this way I have just used functions. In this way I am using classes, and then by the concept of classes and object, I am creating the Fibonacci series wala program. So this is answer 3. So in these three answer, whichever is the best approach will be picked by LLM. So this is not tree of thoughts. So in every I am providing the solution. I am solving the problem in different ways, and then I am evaluating the answers that got generated from those different way, and then I am picking the best answer. It's like if you are solving a math problem, it can be solved in many ways, right? and then
Mm.
I am picking the best way. So I am picking the best answer in self consistency, and I am picking the best thought in tree of thought, and then as per that thought I am solving that problem. So that is the difference.
Okay. So when we go back to the prompts we gave for these two, basically when we are giving the prompt of for self-consistency, we also have to specify that first identify different trains of thoughts and then pick the best one.
No, no, no. So train of thoughts, so we don't have to explain. So if we look
No.
for train of thoughts, so we are asking plan a 3-day AI workshop for beginners by exploring multiple approaches. So multiple approaches, we are exploring on multiple approaches, step by step,
Okay.
and then pick the best structure. Means from those multiple approaches, now you go ahead and find the answer, final answer, based on the picked approach or the selected approach. Whereas in self consistency, I am asking that generate three different plans. I am at the first stage itself, I am asking it to generate three different plans and then select the best plan out of the generated plans. So here I am asking to generate three different output and then select the best output. Here I am asking to explore multiple approaches and then based on that multiple approach, go ahead and generate the final plan. So this is the difference. There is a fine line of difference. These are not same.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is about uh, cognitive styles. Now we'll take 10-minute break and then we will quickly discuss on formatting style for prompts, and then we will be doing the motivational workshop protein. So protein, it's a you know interesting workshop. So don't miss that. Let me start a timer for 10 minutes and we will meet after 10 minutes. Thank you. Hello guys, welcome back. Let me open the one second. Okay, prompt structuring. So I'll just quickly cover this. I don't want to spend much time on this because this is something which is easy for you to understand. So there are different ways in which we can format the prompt. So plain text prompting, first one. So plain text prompting means whenever you are writing a plain text, right? Anything which you are asking in a plain text is plain text prompting. Then markdown prompting is there. So markdown prompting is basically where you are asking or creating the prompts in the markdown format. So in markdown format, we are using hash for the main section. Okay. And then if we are using two hashes, it is for denoting subsection. And if we are using three hashes in markdown format, it is basically the smaller subsection which it represents. Then bullet points are used, are basically denoted using this dash and asterisk sign. So this is for bullet points. And then we have numbered list also where we will use 1, 2, 3 like this, right? To create a number list. And then most importantly, we are using two asterisks for bold. If we want to denote anything in bold, so we are using two asterisks like this. And for italic, we are using only one asterisk. So let's ask the chat GPT itself to create a prompt in markdown format. Create a markdown format of prompt. So you can see this one hash is there, two hashes subsection, and then dash. These are the list or bullet points. And this is how the markdown prompting looks like. So where it is helpful actually. So it is helpful in code bases. So you might be seeing whenever you are creating any tools around code, Claude or GitHub Copilot, and if you need any instructions which sits next to your code base in your code base, so there you are giving the markdown. You are using the markdown files to give the coding instructions. So that's where the markdown prompting is used basically. Now, next is XML style prompting. So XML style prompting means wherever you are giving the prompts in XML style prompting, XML style basically. So that's XML style prompting. So you can see here we are giving tags, right? Start tag is their role, and then end tag, and then we are providing the role, then objective. So it is in XML format. Then we have something known as JSON prompting. So you want to ask something, Sunny?
No, sorry.
Okay. So JSON prompting is giving the prompt in JSON format. So like this, right? So it's kind of JSON format, or you can think in terms of a Python dictionary. So your prompt is looking like a Python dictionary, which is nothing but a JSON format, right? So this is JSON prompting. Then next is YAML prompting. So YAML prompting, the way you give in YAML file, right? Like this. So you give prompts in YAML format. So it is basically YAML prompting, and where it is basically, where are these used basically? So XML is basically used wherever you are dealing with APIs and automation, and then same applies for JSON also, wherever APIs are involved. YAML is used wherever it's basically used in config style prompting or AI pipelines. Then next is INI or config style prompting. So whenever there are some lightweight structured prompts you want to create, which follows initialization type of pattern. So INI stands for initialization. So initialization prompting, INI prompt. I'll tell you how this INI file looks. So this is how the INI file looks. So you can see here This is how this section looks, the heading looks. And inside each heading, you are basically using key value pair to decide what goes inside it. So for example, role. So role is one section. Inside that, title you are giving, and then the necessary value. And then objective is there. Then inside objective, you are using key value pair. Primary goal, what is the primary goal? And then target audience, like this. So this is INI style prompting. And it is basically, as I said, right, it is used for lightweight structured prompt. Next is delimiter prompting. So delimiter means, so any delimiter. So you can use these dash 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 to to separate out the sections, right? So you might have used in your notepad files, right, or wherever you are writing your personal notes. So you are using some delimiter to separate out the section. So let's say delimiter prompting using dashes. So that delimiter can be anything, asterisk, dashes. So you can see this is the delimiter prompting where you are using the delimiter, any delimiter, and then you are creating the prompt. So this is delimiter prompting, and where it is used, wherever you want to clean the, wherever you want to separate the data cleanly. Then we have conversational prompting. So conversational prompting is used in chatbot, conversational style prompting, right? So role, okay, conversational prompting. No, this is not conversational prompting. Okay, conversational prompting is something where something like this, right? So user is asking, what is AI? Then system or admin is replying, AI is something like this. Then user is asking, it's like a chat kind of a prompting, right? Blah, blah, blah. Then system is replying, blah, blah, blah. So this is like system, what do you say? Conversational prompting. Then we have table prompting. So table prompting is where you are, providing the prompt in terms of a table. So let's say if you, create an Excel table and you are providing role, objective. So here you are writing the role, the column name, then objective, and then their value. And then when you will just copy paste this table into the chat GPT, then it's kind of a table prompting that you are doing. Then function call style prompting. So what is function call style prompting? So let's say function call style prompting example I will give to chatbot. So let's say if you are creating a function, let's say summary, generate summary, right? Inside this, let's say text becomes one parameter. What is AI? Then second parameter is, let's say, tone. Tone becomes professional, something like this. So you are basically creating the prompts in terms of functions, and inside functions you are using keyword arguments to define the sub values inside that function style, call style prompting. uh, give similar examples, right? So like this, so this is function style prompting, like this or like this. Okay, and where they are used, so they are basically used in dev workflows, wherever you are dealing with the dev workflows. Then pseudocode prompting. So pseudocode is something like step by step when you create pseudocode or algorithm, right? So you are writing step one, step two, like this. So like this, if you'll write, it will be qualified under pseudocode prompting. And it is used whenever you want to do planning and reasoning, wherever there is a planning and reasoning task. So you can create pseudocode prompting. Next is DSL prompting. Domain specific language. So domain specific language is something, okay. Explain DSL prompting. And DSL basically looks like something like this. So task you are giving like this, explain AI. Role you are giving, AI expert. So something like this, if you'll generate, then this is known as DSL style prompting. See, something like this. It's a custom command language. basically. So it is used for internal AI systems, DSL prompting. Next is schema prompting. So schema prompting is basically, so you know JSON schema, right? So JSON schema, okay. Give example of schema prompting like JSON schema. Okay. So JSON schema is something which denotes everything about the JSON attribute. So for example, if there is an attribute name, then it will define its type, maximum and minimum length of that name, whether it's whether it's a mandatory attribute or not, something like this. So the similar way, if you will create the prompts using JSON schema style, it is known as schema prompting. You can see here, I am giving the task role, and then in output schema, I am, defining the type, that output should be of type object, any type, string, number, anything. And then properties I am defining, right? So title basically should be of type string. Definition is also a string example. So it's like a JSON schema. I mean, however, how the JSON schema basically looks. Similarly, the prompt will also look like this. So this is schema prompting, and it is basically used where you want to reliably, dependent on the structured output. Then we have tagged block prompting. Tagged block prompting. Give example. So tagged block is basically you can create your own tags, right? Opening tag, closing tag, and then whatever, like it's like a XML format, but you are just simply creating the tag. So this is one way of creating tag like XML, and then you can create tags something like this also. I mean, it depends, right? Or you can create tags like this also. So like this. So whenever you are writing your prompt in such format, so this is basically something which qualifies for tagged prompting. And then we have hybrid. So hybrid is any combination or any mix styling if you are doing in your final prompt, any combination of one or more type of prompts in this. So that will come under hybrid prompting. Okay, so this is about prompt structuring. Now our last part for today's session. And what is that? Protein.
We know one question. Why we have this many prompting? Like, do we
No, we
really need?
don't need any these prompting. So I'm just giving you the idea so that you get the idea that these types of different prompting style exist. Because sometimes what people think that only plain text exists, but no, there are other prompting formatting styles are there which exist. And there, I mean, in any way you can create prompt, right? But 99.99% of people are basically just creating the plain text prompting, right? Which is absolutely fine. There is no correct way or wrong way of selecting any particular formatting style. But this is to give you an idea that all these type of other prompting styles, formatting style also exist in prompt. So you can stick to your plain text prompting. Just that you should know that there are other formatting style also that exists.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so protein. So I hope uh, people are going, I mean, nowadays you guys are going gym, and I mean, people are doing gym and some sort of exercise nowadays, right? So you might be able to relate this concept better. So basically, so whenever you want to build muscle, right? So you don't become stronger by avoiding pressure. So whenever anyone wants to build muscle, first is they don't become stronger by avoiding pressure, avoiding pressure, yeah, avoiding pressure and pain, right? What it means is that, so when if you have decided to build muscle, you will be going to gym, and in gym you will be doing enter you will enter the gym, you will lift the weight, you will struggle, you will feel pain, and then your muscle will basically experience tiny tears and breakdowns. Okay, so that means you go to gym, correct? You exercise, you struggle, you lift weight, you struggle, you feel pain, correct? And that's when your muscles experiences tears and breakdowns, right? So gym is something which I will highlight in some other color. Let's say, okay, 1 second. Okay, and your muscle experience tear and breakdown. So after this, what happens if so once you go to gym, your muscles tears and wears, then you take protein, right? Then you take protein, and that's how your muscle grow and become stronger, correct? So protein also, I will just highlight it in some other color. So idea is that, so whenever you want to build muscle, so you cannot build it by avoiding pressure. You have to go to gym, you have to break your muscles first, and then you have to take your protein, and that's how your muscle grow and you become stronger, right? Imagine if you are going to gym and you are experiencing muscle tear. After that, if you are not taking protein, now your body will go in much more stress, worse than before. So it is very important to take your protein, right? Because that's how it will repair your teared muscle, and that's how your existing muscle will grow. Once the tear will be uh, it will be basically built using the protein that you are taking. So protein is very important. Now, what is the relevance of all these things that I am telling you? So, have you ever faced that the people around you become very negative and you are facing a lot of negativity while chasing something very important, or when you are chasing any dream? You might be facing these things, right? So, in real life, also, when you are working on your dream, when you are doing something new, so there will be 1 second. So, when you are working on something new or on your dream, right? So there are people, there will be negative people around you for sure. Negative people. So these negative people, they will mock you and they will laugh on you when you are working on something new, right? You might have, everyone might have faced these kind of negative people, right? Then there will be doubters also among your family, among your friend circle, who will convince you that whatever you are dreaming is foolish, and whatever you are thinking to do, it's of no use, right? So there will be doubters also. Then there will be criticism also. So people will mock you and they will laugh on your dreams, right? They will make fun of you. If you are struggling, if you are trying to achieve something, if you are struggling, instead of helping, people will laugh at you, right? I'm sure most of you might have faced this, these kind of situation. Then after that, you will have fear of failure also. Whenever you face these situation, fear of failure, will be there. Then rejection, fear of rejection will be there, and then self doubt arises, right? Now these negative situation will look like as if they are stopping you, correct? So these negative situations will look like as if they are stopping you. But so I'm just making the analogy with this also, this particular physical realm, right? Whenever you are going to gym and whenever you are facing I mean, pain in the gym. So you feel like, okay, this is something, this might not be good for my body, something like this, right? So similarly, in mental realm also, you will be seeing these negative situation and you will think that they are stopping you, right? But consider these negative situation as your gym. Okay. So consider that these negative situation are my mental gym, and it is basically there to break me. It is basically creating like a real gym. The real gym is creating wear and tear and breakdown, tear and breakdown in your muscle, right? So these negative situation, just think in a way that it is creating tiny tears in your mindset. So in real gym, we have seen, right, when there is a tear and a breakdown in your muscle is there, what do you take? You take protein, right? That's it. Here also you have to take protein. And what is the protein in this case? Your hard work, faith in yourself, your discipline, your learning, continuous learning, your patience, and self belief. There are many people in life uh, who are considered, people, mocked at them, people made fun of them. There are many examples. You can take many examples, right? Michael Jordan. So he was not selected in his, school's basketball team, and he was, mocked many times. And then there are many examples, right? Isaac Newton. He was considered to be dumb in his childhood. Then Albert Einstein. So what was happening that time? Whenever they are facing these kind of issues, they were facing negative situation, right? So it was basically kind of a gym situation for them, which was creating tiny tears in their mindset. So if they would have left then and there itself, nothing would have happened, right? But what they did, they continued to take their protein, right? So if there are tiny tears in your mindset, you should take proteins, and your protein in that case will be your hard work, faith in yourself, discipline, learning, patience, and self belief. So just keep on taking this protein, and you will end up in building stronger and bigger mindset. Like in gym, when you take protein, you end up in building bigger muscles, right? So similarly here also, if you'll take your protein, you will end up in building a stronger and bigger mindset and succeed in achieving your dream. So this is how you should take any negative situation in life, and take negative people, doubter, critics, fear of failures, people who are laughing at you as your gym. Be thankful to God that God is providing, such kind of people in your life, because they are basically playing the role of the gym in your life. They are creating tears in your mindset. And now it's up to you. You have to take protein so that you can fill up this tear and bring and build a stronger mindset. So don't miss your protein, or else you will not grow. So this was the whole idea about this motivational workshop. So just remember this protein analogy. Whenever you feel, negative situation and negative people in life, whenever you face these kind of situation and people, you have to, only just one word should, pop up in your mind: protein. So you have to take your protein. Cool. I think this is some weird analogy I wanted to, come up with, and I wanted to explain this so that it gives you some motivation flair. uh, okay, so I think that's it for today's session. So next class we will start with Crew AI and Langgraph, and then probably AutoGen also. And yeah, so I think that's it for today. Any doubt or anything, any last word before we wrap up the session?
Yeah, just one thing. I wanted to start with the gym. So to go to gym, I need to start with protein as well.
Obviously. So right, so if you are going to gym and if you want your muscles to become stronger, so how the gym works? So whenever you are lifting the weight, it creates a tear, minute tears in your muscles. And when you take the protein, then protein helps in covering up for that tear. So that tear will be replaced with new protein fiber. So that's how slowly your muscle grows. So yes, protein is very much required. And that is the whole learning from today's workshop as well. Never miss your protein in physical reality as well as mental reality. So it is
Okay.
required, Sunny.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. I think that's pretty much it then. Thank you guys. Thanks for dialing in. Have a nice day ahead. Thank you.